Alrighty, howdy y'all. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. Today we got some legs on the agenda, and as you may know, or as you may have noticed rather, my room has changed a little bit. The camera angle is at a different spot. That is because I decided to move my bed around because I am a big person when it comes to interior design. I know that's not really interior design, but I just like reorganizing my room pretty frequently. So, on the agenda, got a buddy joining me for some legs for me today, or with me today. And I know I have my normal buddy with me, but this is another buddy, so we're gonna be doing that. Most likely gonna be starting off with those Smith machine squats if they're available again. That is kind of the whole, that's like ideal. Smith machine or the hack squat, or I guess I did say I would do barbell squats, but while I do think I can still go to the gym, my thumb is not fully healed, and with too bad like kind of wrists, I don't want to be doing like barbell squat where I gotta hold it on my back. So that might be for when I get back from my 11-day break off from the gym. But yeah, probably gonna be looking. I watched Jeff Nippard's video on like best quad exercises today, and the hack squat, obviously, but like the shoulder one, but that hack squat is like the best one you can do. And then it's under that, it's like the Smith machine squat and regular back squats. So if Smith machine is open, I got really lucky last time, but if it's open, I might try doing the plate elevated ones on the Smith machine, but we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. So yeah, today's been pretty good. Got some new fish oil here as I was out. Got that today. Had some classes. Watched the Ravens-Lions game. Won my fantasy league by 2 points again. Or not my league, but my game. So I'm undefeated in my fantasy league. It's going pretty well. Derrick Henry almost sold with another fumble, but I managed to pull away. Of course, my opponent had Montgomery. Who would have thought he was going to get 30 points or whatever he got? But whatever. Can't believe the Packers lost to the Browns out of all people. I know the Browns defense isn't anything to scoff at, but I figured with the Packers defense and then with their offense, at least they would get some separation rather than just 10-0 at fourth and then throwing away their victory. But regardless, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I had the Vikings defense on my bench. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. That really sucked. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this. I know obviously I don't like taking rest days off from the gym, but I really am looking forward to having these 11 days off. I do think my body needs it, unfortunately. But I know on one of our Airbnbs that we're staying at that it has a gym, and I might just do, since I won't literally have any content for that 11 days that I'm gone, I might try doing cardio and abs at that little gym that's in wherever our Airbnb is. That way I can maybe get some content recorded for you guys, but we'll have to see kind of how the dice are looking once we get to there. I didn't get all of them in one go. Oh, some of them got a weird taste. They don't got that good sugary coating, so they taste a little funky. But yeah, so not much else for me, for you guys before I hit the gym. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. But we're gonna go ahead and hit the gym. Got legs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I will see y'all at the gym after I get some dinner. Alrighty, so starting off the leg day, we have, as I said, good old back squats. But doing the one that I wanted to for the month, because like I said, I've been moving away from doing back squats as much, and here I started to pick up the bar and then realized that I did not have a clip on the other side because of course safety first, and I did not feel like dropping weights on mine and my buddy's stuff in case something were to go wrong. However, I did decide to lower the weight a little bit. In the past I've done more, but I really wanted to go down and focus on, just doing it right and making it feel better and not as much as my lower back. Because while you're doing the workout, you can feel yourself pushing through your legs, and you're stabilizing your core and flexing your back and all that. So I wanted to kind of
take that aspect out as much as I could by like going down a bit of weight and really just focus on that push through my legs and not as much having to stabilize my upper body. But for this workout, I did really enjoy how much depth I was getting. I thought that was pretty good. I thought keeping my back straight was also going really well. That's also a big point of focus that I've been wanting to focus on. And controlling the movement speed, I thought was going really good. I wasn't like going down super fast to like explode up. I was just controlling it the whole time. I do need to keep my head up to make sure I'm keeping that back straight for the entire movement and just for better form, and then keeping my knees in line. I don't think I necessarily did too bad at that. However, I do want to make sure that I really am focusing on keeping those knees in the same plane of direction the entire time, because I do tend to either go out or in sometimes just because, I'm not focusing on it enough. So overall, pretty good. Happy with how squats went. And then moving on, we got some good old leg press. I believe this is linear leg press, considered technically. Now with this, as I've mentioned in the past, a big point of focus is driving through my heels, keeping my toes up, which really helps with that drive into feeling really just in my quads. Like, I think goes really good. And then also you may notice that like after every rep, I look up at my feet and then put my head back down when I go to do the rep. I think that's because when I look up, I make sure my feet are still in the right spot and are, where I want them to be. And along with squats, I felt like depth for this went really well. I felt like pushing through the heels went really well, and kind of same thing with squat, keeping my knees in line. I know this one's definitely a little bit easier for me to keep my knees in line because I have that, I'm pushing off of like the bench rather than, just freestanding. And then controlling the movement speed, again, I don't think this one was horrible. I do think I could go a tiny bit slower on the down part of the movement, as since I'm short, I compact really easily, which allows me to kind of, explode out. And if I go too fast, I can really just push against almost my own body, like folding in half to push it up rather than, purely using my quad. So I think slowing down on that will really help me out in that aspect. But moving on, lying leg curls. Now with these, I tend to rush a lot, as you can see there. I tend to rush my movements a decent amount. I think my depth and stretch was good, but I will say for this one, and I believe also coming up next with the leg extensions, it's kind of roughly the same story. I don't want to make it as like an excuse, but I do tend to, if I'm not like conscious about it, rush some of my movements when I have my tripod up, because I feel kind of in the way of others. My tripod's never in the way because I make a good point in not having that happen, but it does cause me to kind of rush through some workouts and just like focus on getting the workout done rather than actually focus on getting the most out of the workout that I could be. And kind of the same thing here with these leg extensions. I'm really liking how the weight was feeling. However, again, I'm going too fast. I'm getting the right stretch out, I think I'm getting down to where I need to be, but I am just kind of going through the workout a little too fast. And I do think that's kind of a thing that some people, that even regardless of recording, can have. I think a lot of people can go into the gym and just do the workout to get it done, to say they've done the workout. And while of course you're still going to grow from that, you're still going to, going into the gym and working out, you're going to see growth. But I think to really get that growth, you got to do the work. You got to want to do the workout for the workout. You got to want to be doing that movement, not just getting it done with. And I think that's something that a lot of people tend to overlook as something that's super important. So, moving on, anyways, the shoulder or the standing calf raises were not available. So, went to the next best thing, or second best. I don't really know. I kind of like this, doing my calves like this, or with the linear leg press. I like them both. But I really wanted to make sure I was controlling this and getting good depth on the movement and making sure that my feet were not moving around on the platform. And this one's a little more like, susceptible to incorrect form than I would argue the standing one, just because, well, you know what, no, I'd say they're about the same. As you can see, I was happy with my stretch and depth and controlling the movement speed. I think that's another big one for calves for me, is I tend to go a little too fast when I really want to get that stretch and then get that, wow, I'm blanking. The contraction of that muscle, really getting that stretch into the contraction. So I was happy. I didn't really think anything was too bad that I noticed. So I'm happy with how those went. And then normally I would do these Smith machine RDLs before I would do calves, but the Smith machine was not open. And I can just not emphasize how much I love these out of all the RDL variants. Now, I'm a little, I, I'm pretty flexible. I mean, I can touch the ground with like my palms flat on the ground once I obviously am warmed up and stretched. So with these, like, I gotta push my butt out a bit farther because if I just go straight down, I'm not getting as much of a stretch as I could be in my hamstrings. So with that, I think if you were really paying attention, my left leg would occasionally move while I was doing this, just kind of trying to adjust it to feel where it was even in both legs. So I didn't do great at keeping that leg in place. However, like I was saying with pushing my butt out farther, doing that, I love the depth and I love the stretch that I'm feeling in it. And then controlling the movement speed, I thought also went really well. I think I could probably slow down a little bit, but I think it was more on the good side than it was on the bad. But I definitely could be slowing it down a little bit in the future. And then here's the buddy I was working out with. Me and him were just doing some posing. I struggle with leg posing a little bit because I haven't been throwing in the more upper part of the leg workout, I guess, or not the leg workout, the leg posing. Because obviously, when you pose legs on stage, you're not just posing your legs, like, you're still flexing other parts of your bodies and whatnot. So I was trying to kind of work that out with him today. That's kind of what you can see here. I was trying to do the kind of side chest, side bicep with the posing of the leg. And I was just kind of showing him how I have learned to do the side chest. And obviously, I've told him many times that I'm not a professional. This is all based off of just personal experience and what I've learned through social media and just my experience in the gym and learning as an exercise science minor. So it's not. He knows that I'm not a professional, and I wasn't trying to. And I wasn't. I know. I wasn't trying to be like. I was kind of like a personal trainer, but like he also knew what he was doing, and he knew that I was just talking from experience, not from like factual knowledge. So I just want to clear that air in case people think that I'm trying to go out as like someone who knows exactly what they're doing based on the science. I don't. I just want to inspire with my journey rather and with to inspire and teach with my journey rather than using factual information and just kind of sharing my experiences and doing things. And obviously, I'll still do research on certain things. Don't get me wrong. I mean, to improve and optimize workouts and eating as much as I can, I want to be looking stuff up to make sure I'm fact checking everything. But in terms of portraying my workouts and knowledge, it's more off experience. But here's cardio, and I'll see y'all back at the apartment.
Okay, the thing is 100 people. Alrighty, back at the apartment. I just got out of the shower. Overall, went really good. I kind of got to be somewhat of a personal trainer today. I had one of my buddies that I met here in Australia tag along for my workout, or at least join me, not necessarily tag along. He's been working out for quite a bit, but he wanted to work out with me, and he wanted my insight on bodybuilding because he's trying to get more into the bodybuilding scene, and that felt really good. I mean, that's exactly what I'm setting out to do here on my channel is, inspire people and teach people. A little more on the inspiring side rather than the teaching side, because a lot of the stuff I talk about is just from personal experience. I haven't necessarily researched it, which is what I want to start doing more so I can kind of be in both of those categories. Now, that's why in these like end sections, I might want to try including something like that. I know it's a little difficult because I do like to talk and just yap a little bit after my workouts versus actually, going on to my computer and looking stuff up. So you know what? Actually, instead, I'd reckon on my rest days. See, now, here's the thing. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with posting 7 days a week. However, it does get a bit overbearing sometimes. That is a lot to like keep up with every single week. Having the 5 days for uploading stuff and working out, they both work really well, and I like how that works. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I think maybe just on like Saturday and Wednesday, so the days before my rest days, I can make the end segment more about looking stuff up, maybe some questions I've had in the past few workouts that lead up to that, or just some things that I want to confirm. But I do want to start including the more scientific part and like actually researching things and to better help myself and to better educate, my audience. But kind of back on the topic of today, really well. Happy with how it went. I know I said I wasn't going to do back squat at the beginning of the video, but the Smith machine was taken when I got there, and the hack squat was taken when I got there, so I ended up doing barbell back squat. And, I figured just do it and see how my buddy did, and he did great. Fantastic. I didn't even have to, like, give him much advice. I gave him just some personal, I guess, advice of, like, discipline and, like, eating and like just doing what feels best for you, and don't let anyone, like, obviously take advice, but also do your own research. So but I mean, in terms of lifting, he was spot on. He had just a slight not even a problem, he just had a tendency sometimes when doing like leg press and back squat that his heels would come off the ground. So we fixed that, and he fixed it really quick. It was still pushing like the same weight, because even though like obviously having your heel down is making it more in your quads, so you're more true to the workout, which can tend to make it harder. Kind of just like getting proper depth can make doing squats harder. He fixed it great. Like he did amazing. I didn't have to really give him any advice on workouts. He pretty much knew everything. And he really just wanted to hear personal advice, I guess, and the little things, I guess. One of the things I told him was, as cliche as it is, the little things matter. Especially when it comes to separating yourself, like in terms of bodybuilding. If you want to separate yourself from like the average lifter, you got to do the little things in the gym. Because both of you can go to the gym, have a hard workout, and call it a day. You can work hard, just pushing weight. Now with bodybuilding, you need to go in, work hard, push that weight, make sure you're doing it like correctly, perfectly, make sure you're getting proper depth, make sure you're tracking your workout so you can keep pushing up. And when you get back, make sure you're tracking your protein, make sure you're stretching, make sure you're nursing injuries, make sure you're, there's just those little things where in the moment, like we'll talk about it in decimals. If you say the average lifter goes to the gym, that's the number one. You go to the gym and you do all those small things, that's 1.25. Then it just keeps going and it compounds, it builds. The small things do matter, because at the end of the year, it's almost like creatine. You got a natural lifter and a natural lifter, but one's taking creatine. Well, in the moment, it's not gonna have that big of an effect. By the end of the year, you've gained 2 pounds of extra muscle than the guy that's not taking creatine, So the little things do matter. That creatine analogy is actually really good. So that's a very good way to think about it. Creatine, also, if you're not taking creatine, take creatine. Otherwise, what are you doing? Creatine is the best workout supplement you can take, arguably. So anyways, off that little tangent. Yeah, creatine will help a natural lifter grow, 2 pounds of muscle to 3 pounds of muscle each year extra than if they weren't taking it. And that's just like what doing the little things do. It helps you build your discipline up, it helps you get things done, and it helps you improve. So the little things truly do matter. I know this little end segment is a little bit longer, so I'll kind of end it here, but just really focus on the little things. Obviously the big things matter, and if you've got the big things down, obviously get the big, I'm going on a little bit more. Obviously get the big things down first. And then once you're doing those, like 99% efficiency, and always like 99% of the time you're doing that, because obviously you're not gonna be able to do it perfectly all the time, but as long as you've gotten that, like the main part down, start working on the little things, and you will truly see how much of an improvement it will give you. So, but yeah, besides that, as always, I really hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.